I would like to start by acknowledging the significant progress the Gambia has made in developing its INF, which is a crucial step towards achieving the country's sustainable development priorities and boosting domestic revenue mobilization. However, the fact that debt services cost now exceeds 40% is a pressing concern that needs to be addressed. In terms of our experience, the Ministry of Finance and Economic Affairs initiated the INF last year, engaging multi-stakeholder dialogue with government, private sector, civil society, IFIs, and development partners. The INF supports the new recovery-focused National Development Plan launched earlier this year by advancing sustainable development through a coherent financing approach. Notably, Gambia is one of the 86 countries that have adopted the INFFs, and the framework has updated development financial assessments from 2017 to 2018. The INF has identified new financing needs and opportunities, updated financial gaps and priorities, and support the government's second NDCs, which was rated as the sole NDC dedicated to achieving the ambitious Paris Agreement goal of limiting global warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius. The NDC aims to effectively address pressing environmental and socio-economic challenges whilst fostering resilient recovery anchored on Gambia's 2050 climate vision. The INF has also updated the financial gaps and priorities, and the NDP 2023 to 2027 faces an 80% funding gap totaling to $3.4 billion, impacting SDG acceleration and requiring innovative solutions. The plan addresses key challenges through 7 strategic pillars, including resilience, governance, reforms, and human capital development. The RF NDP was led by the Directorate of Development Planning in the Ministry of Economic Affairs and Finance and supported by the UNDP with the consultations from the EU, IMF, and the World Bank. The Gambia's priorities in terms of implementation of the INFFs includes the Gambia prioritizes strengthening leadership and coordination for effective INF implementation through reporting by the Minister of Finance and Economic Affairs to Cabinet's high-level Economic Social Council, ensuring enhanced coordination, oversight, and timely decision-making, reinforcing leadership by strengthening country-level leadership on financing, aligning national strategies with global objectives, and addressing institutional coordination and bottlenecks. Expanding a tax base by addressing stagnation in the tax-to-GDP ratio, improving compliance, and leveraging digital tools. Streaming tax exemption to drive growth in productive sectors and monitor tax expenditures for high-quality FDIs. Enhancing private investment frameworks to attract sustainable FDIs and foster a conducive environment for impactful investment. Maximize ODA impact through improved coordination, transparency, and alignment with national priorities. Strengthen the Gambia Strategic Review Board for optimal funding max. Harnessing diaspora finance by leveraging diaspora remittances for national development, reducing transfer costs, and promoting investment through the diaspora desk. Strengthening multi-stakeholder engagement by emphasizing inclusivity and collaboration in INF operationalization process. Gender equality by identifying gender-sensitive priorities, mainstreaming gender considerations, and including funding to support initiatives that promote gender equality and addressing gender-based violence. Based on our experience, we recognize that as we move forward with the INF approach, our financing priorities are clear. We need to mobilize resources to address food security and poverty while investing in productive capacity to drive economic growth. The Gambia is committed to advancing sustainable development through the INF framework. We anticipate productive discussions and continued collaboration to drive progress in financing for development. International partners can play a crucial role in supporting our efforts to mobilize climate finance and reduce debt vulnerabilities. We need to work together to improve the global finance landscape and make finance more affordable and accessible. In our INF, we have identified a pipeline of projects that align with our development and climate objectives. However, we need support from the international community to bridge the financing gap and reform the international architecture to become more conducive for countries such as the Gambia to realize its financing and sustainable development outcomes that we are all striving for. This could include concessional financing grants, innovation financing that could help us leverage private sector investment, capacity building, and technical assistance to support the government's efforts to mobilize resources and implement policy reforms. Thank you.